Welcome, everybody, to the final whistle, where you get all your recap of everything from Alabama. And, we got the all-star panel because it's Texas week. You see, I'm getting ready to have as many states this week, courtesy of the Bevo, the Longhorns. And as you see, starting off, we got my brother, a.k.a. Chris James. Chris James, how you doing?
Man, I'm wonderful, baby. I'm 1-0. I know that, baby. Ready to go to.
Ready for Texas. And we got to the right of him, Coach Smoog. Coach Smoog, how you doing?
Smoog.
It's murder season, baby. We got to mask up, baby.
Oh my God.
We got to mask up, baby.
Season.
We're about to get flagged.
We going hunting. We're going to get some bulls this weekend. We're going hunting, baby.
List and below him, Velvet Thunder himself, Final Whistle Dan, our leading recruit analyst. How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm pumped. I'm jacked, man. It's Texas week, man. You don't say no more, man.
And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. 24/7 constant college football content, Mr. Ty Hayes. Ty Hayes, how are you doing?
Man, can't complain. Happy to be here as always.
Awesome. And everybody, we got the hardest working man in the building from the Bama Standard, the creator, the originator, Mr. Justin Riley. Justin Riley, how you doing today, sir?
Let me talk to you. We are the mega stars of Bama Nation. Whose game is it? With everybody saying the final whistle. Yeah.
And yes, everybody, it is Alabama is 1-0, and it's Texas week. And I'm going to shoot a layup to my guy who is around the table with Around the Table Sports. Mr. Ty Hayes is going to lead us off. Mr. Ty Hayes.
Well, look, what would we be doing? We would not be doing service to the Crimson Tide community if before we looked to Texas, we didn't recap what we saw this week. Gentlemen, we have not had the opportunity to sit together and talk about MTSU. And I've been dying to talk to y'all about your opinions. There's a lot we need to get into, a lot that was impressive, some things that need to be cleaned up. We'll talk about whether it's concerning or just a product of the first game. But I wanted to start off with this game one recap, guys. Jalen Milroe comes out. That's a place we need to talk. We need to give some grades for the units. But I just want to go around everybody first and get a quick summary of what stood out to you. Justin, you always end the segments for us, but I got to have you start this one off.
I almost don't know what to do, Ty. I'm usually having to wait my time and be patient and be humble.
Got to keep you on your toes.
Even though I run everything.
You run everything.
Going last. How does that factor out? I don't know. But
you got to serve his heart like Jesus.
I don't play by the rules.
Well, folks, I'm not deity, but I am one of the hardest working folks in Bama Nation. For you, the fans, hey, before we get started, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, live chat. Let's get rowdy tonight. Let's get fired up. It's Texas week. It's time to eat some steak, as Mr. Goodell pointed out so eloquently. As always, we're brought to you by Workspace Solutions. If your business needs a digital presence or a full-fledged marketing team, these are the guys to reach out to. They keep the lights on for us. They're the reason we're here. Well, let me take that back. You guys are the real reason we're here. But we already got scores for the game coming up in the super chat. So let's just wait. Let's hold off on that. Not that you need us to give any extra points, but I was live and in person to watch this game Saturday. Let me first of all say, for a game against Middle Tennessee State, it sure felt like a playoff game. Alabama Nation showed up. They showed out. It was packed out. The energy was just beyond explanation, off the charts. Loved it. Nothing like hearing Dixieland Delight again. And most importantly, it was nothing like hearing Eli Gold again. Eli Gold is back, folks. I could jump in. First of all, I know we're going to talk about Jalen Milroe. I'll let the right people talk about that, but I got to give a shout out to that man after what he did. Lank was the exclamation or the acronym that he and Terry and Arnold came up with. Let all naysayers know. And Saturday night, I felt like he did do that. He let all the naysayers know. Everybody said he can't pass over 10 yards. He just throws it in the dirt. And what did he do? He's dropping bombs to Isaiah Bond, Amari Nublack, Coach Smook's favorite player who's near and dear to his heart, Jermaine Burton. He didn't just show out. He walked out of Bryant-Denny setting a school record for 3 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns by one individual. I say that's pretty damn good. But the group that I was looking at was the offensive line. The entire offseason, that's one of the most highly promoted groups, saying this was arguably going to be one of our greatest strengths. Well, there was a problem with that, and his name is Darian Dalcourt. Guys, I don't know what he has over Coach Saban or Terry or anybody else of significance, but the man is an utter turnstile. He's 6'5", 300 plus, and he's just there to be a mannequin because he wasn't moving except backwards. And the few times that Jalen Milroe was not dropping bombs, he was getting crushed because of not Seth McLaughlin, but almost went into another point. Darian Dalcourt. He was pushed around. How is somebody that big able to be tossed around like a rag doll? I don't know if he was afraid to get in people's personal space. Maybe he felt like, hey, if I put my hands on him without consent, I'm going to be canceled. Who knows what his train of thought was. Then I look over to Seth McLaughlin. Normally he's on point. The snap issue, didn't understand that. I guess it was the negative energy created by Darian Dalcourt that got to him. But the offensive line as a whole, to me, was a C+ at best. They just weren't imposing their will. They weren't pushing people back. I was looking for them to manhandle, and to the point to where we were probably averaging 6 or 7 yards a rush. The running backs weren't really able to get going because we just weren't getting that push. I was impressed with Roydell Williams. I loved his change in direction. I loved that jump cut. He just seemed just really energized, and there was just so much energy coming from him. Jace McClellan got what he could. He scored a touchdown, but it felt like when he was in, that's when the offensive line was at their worst. Maybe y'all saw something different. I just want to see a little bit more. Maybe they're playing down to the level of their competition, and they're going to unload come Texas this Saturday, but it left a lot to be desired.
I agree.
I agree completely. And we have a chat we need to get to. I can't pull it up, but Justin, Micah Mumford with the $1.99 asks, was that pass to Nyblack an NFL throw at Chris? And what a better time, because it's the man I'm about to pass it to. So Chris, handle this. And then same question to you, man. What was your recap on MTSU? And then what would you give your position group and what grade?
Okay. First off, thank you for that, Micah. I would say, yes, that was an NFL pass. I mean, that one to Bond, too, was an NFL pass also. He stood in the pocket, stood tall, delivered. He was rocked, but, I mean, he delivered it right on the money, man. He made some impressive throws, and that was the one thing I was looking for. If we can stretch the field like that, we're going to be very hard to beat. And Nyblack, that was a great catch by him. And I think they said his GPS is like at 21 miles per hour or something like that, which is insane for a tight end. And but overall, the group that I'm going with are the DBs. Man, the depth, that was the number one thing that stood out, man. Any other team that would have had 2 key starters that would have gotten hurt, it would have been a level of drop off somewhere, but not the other night, man. Not the other night. The only negative I could say was that in and out coverage that when the Earl Little gave up a touchdown, he was responsible for. That was the only pretty much mishap that I saw. We only gave up, I think, 133 yards passing, and the thing about it, they had 24 completions, so that means that they kept everything in front of them, came up and tackled well. So they didn't give up the big plays, and that was the one thing I was looking for, because I believe our secondary, we may have the deepest secondary in the country, just being honest, because it's not a drop-off from – I got top 10 guys. All of them could play. And I was encouraged by Amos, what I saw from him as a third corner. Terry Arnold, man, he will probably – this may be the first time that I can remember in a long time that a team, both of their starting corners could be All-Americans.
Yep.
Because Terry Arnold has it, man. Kool-Aid will probably be another All-American anyway because teams won't throw his way. And whenever they do, is it's not going to be anything. So, and Caleb Downs, oh, God, man. He doesn't play like a freshman. It's just I could talk all day about this, but I'm not. But I'm very encouraged by the secondary, and this week will be a big test with Worthy and Adonai Mitchell and Texas receiving courts coming in. So, but overall grade, I give those guys an A. Less than 150 yards passing, because it would have been an A plus if we wouldn't have given up that late touchdown pass. It would have been an A plus, but I'll give him an A.
But Earl Little was only off by like a millisecond. Had he been there a little bit sooner, he would have housed that. But hey, Chris, you forgot about one thing. Can we talk about how Jalen Key baited Vadiato and came up with that pick?
Veteran move.
Let me tell you about Jalen Key. He was a guy that played for a good friend of mine that we're on the same coaching staff now. Back at Godby High School out of Tallahassee when he was coaching, and Key he was originally a corner. Mm-hmm. That's what he played in high school. He didn't play safety until he got to college. He's a big kid, but at UAB, the only thing that kept him off the field was like this. And once it clicked for him, like last year at UAB, man, it clicked. And he's a smart. He comes from a smart family. I know his family well. He comes from a smart family, and he's a football player, man. That dude, that was a veteran move. How he baited him because he trusted his own athleticism to be able to get back up underneath that and to pick that off, man. Like we need that. We need that in the secondary. When was the last time we had a guy? To do something like that, as far as like just baiting. Probably
instinct.
Who was the last one? Instinct like that. Was it Xavier McKinney?
Eddie Jackson, maybe. Like like McKinney would get beat, but Jackson was consistent on that.
Yeah, Vinny, Sunseri.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's been a while, man, and it seems like we're getting back to those early 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014 secondary days. And man, I'm excited, man. And but to see those two guys come in and look like they've been in the program 4 or 5 years, and it's encouraging, man. I am excited, man, about Saturday because honestly, I feel like Texas won't be able to run the ball and they'll be forced to throw it, and this is a no-fly zone back there. So
yeah, interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see the health of Baxter, their 5-star true freshman. Hopefully he's going to be good for the season. He has a very high ceiling. He went down in that game. They have some other talented backs, Brooks and Blue. I think both at a time or another were rated as a top 5 running back in the nation. So that's something we have to watch. But Chris, you're 100% right. The depth in the secondary is going to be huge, especially against Texas. Now, Smoot, you were really excited to jump into what you saw against MTSU and then the grade you are giving the group you wanted to talk about. So talk to me.
So overall, man, Alabama performed exactly like we were expected to perform. When we talk about best case scenarios and we talk about the amount of talent that we have stepping on the field, whether inexperienced or experienced, just the collective group and the mesh up of talent, veteran play, just the amount of snaps. I think the personnel groupings are being established. Like, that Amari Knee-Black and Danny Lewis twin tight set is crazy. And then when they bring heavy or jumbo set, they have Dupree or Oots on at the H and have those other two guys on the line. It's hard to defend that because Knee-Black is a big receiver. Danny Lewis is Algie Crumpler 2.0. Dude is big, man. He just moves people on the run game. He moves DBs and linebackers out the way. He seals the edge great. Dupree came out there. He had that first couple plays. He just maybe was nervous. I don't know, but he shored up in, the second drive he was out there. So I'm excited to see everything, development on the defensive side in the trenches. It was like we were prepared. That was the only thing I'm excited about. It looked like we knew our assignments on both sides of the ball. Jalen Milroe looked comfortable, which leads me into my position group, the quarterbacks. I'm gonna start from the bottom up. Ty Simpson, he looks like he's focused.
Yeah.
Very, very, very small sample size of what he is doing, but I don't think he went out there and pressed. I don't think he went out there and tried to prove nothing. He went out there and did exactly what he's supposed to do. Secure the ball, run the plays, complete the pass when you have an opportunity. You know, use your legs. He showcased exactly what we knew he could showcase. Didn't try to do too much. Tyler Buchner, not impressed at all, y'all. I mean, if you want to put two quarterbacks on the field and do a trick play because he could, just in case the double pass is not there, he might be able to take off. Yeah, but I don't see nothing special about this kid. And maybe the him being second on the depth chart is Saban's opportunity, giving him that opportunity to kind of like lose the job. You know, like I feel like with Dallencourt. So and then I mean we get them two out the way quick. But Jalen Milroe, guys. When I say exceeded my expectations, and people could say it's an opponent, this, that, and the third, I saw Quinn Ewers, who was getting all this preseason hype, who this highly rated. He was higher rated than Jalen Milroe coming out of high school. You know, we saw his talent last year. I saw this guy go 0 for 6 on deep balls against Rice. And Rice has some athletic guys in the secondary. I don't want anybody to be deceived. But 4 of those deep balls were wide open passes where he just, 2 of them, one was underthrown, 3 were just 7-8 yards overthrown. And it was things, and I was watching Ty's show the other day, man. He was like, it was just some uncharacteristic things that were happening with his footwork, with his vision. Like things, it looked like he was being forced. And you have to wonder, was that, you know, planned? Was that by scheme or whatever? Was that the game plan to try to, you know, get that deep ball going? Because after Baxter went down, you know, they still had a strong run game, you know. I don't think Baxter being out hurts them as much, but those other 2 backs they have are nasty. But Milroe against that Texas defense, guys, I think he's gonna give them fits. If we sure up that right guard position, Milroe's gonna get these guys fits because I see Tommy Rees allow him to be in that pistol formation, the 12 formation. That is going to be key, man. You talking about Jalen Ford is probably your best cover corner in the nation over at Texas. You're probably your best cover corner, your most instinctive corner in the nation. I mean, not corner, but linebacker in the nation. This guy can cover, you know, with some of the best of them. He could play in space good. He's very disciplined on tackle. Everything. You get Knee Black to expose him or create a mismatch in that, you take away like 70% of what Texas defense can do because the rest of it is in the interior. And if Jalen Milroe can make the right checks with protections and guys stay focused and be consistent with his delivery with the ball, being sure in what he's reading, this could be a big game for Jalen Milroe. I'm talking about like 4 or 5 passing touchdowns because that secondary is suspect. So, and then Middle Tennessee, I was supposed to talk about Middle Tennessee, but Middle Tennessee game, I gave my boy an A+. Jalen Milroe, A+. No turnovers. He kept the ball, you know, delivering the ball. Deep out route looked beautiful. I mean, release, timing, everything was on point. Jalen Milroe, A+, man. He exceeded expectations and even got his name. People talking about Heisman, you know, like he didn't even play a big game, just a consistent game. He looked beautiful.
I want to add something to that. For all the naysayers that were out there, one of the things that they brought up a lot in chats and comment sections was he played Middle Tennessee State. Yeah, I get he played Middle Tennessee State. What I'm looking at is the game within the game. I look at his confidence. I'm looking at his poise. But look at his mechanics. Look at the ball placement. You can't get any more perfect than that. And then, too, he was staying in the pocket, waiting for plays to develop it, sometimes at his own detriment. A couple of those touchdowns, he got absolutely jacked. But he hung in there, and he saw the play all the way through and resulted in touchdowns. You can't ask for anything more from this guy.
We saw the precision. We saw the confidence. It's there, guys. And I think he's going to experience some things coming into this week. We'll get into it. But overall for that game, boy, it was crazy. He did what he had to do.
Well, Saban asked one of the quarterbacks and Jalen be so good that I get to play the other quarterbacks. Guys, once Jalen found his rhythm, he was so good that Saban got to play the other quarterbacks. They got to take him out expeditiously because they figured out exactly within the offense, hey, Jalen loves this. It's clicking. Matt, I got to hear from you. Talk to me about what you saw from MTSU, and then talk to me about the position group that stood out for you, and what grade are you going to give them?
Yeah, I mean, I want to give a shout out people underestimate MTSU. Like, Chris, you know, we played at Bama. MTSU, listen, those guys they're good athletes. I said this going into the game. MTSU is going to present a lot of challenges for our defense. Those guys are just as hungry. They came in, they were hitting defensively. They were getting our quarterback. So I would tell you this. I believe MTSU will beat Rice. I will tell you that. But, yeah, for me, you know, I'm proud of Milroe, how he stood in the pocket, the offensive line. You know, all you guys spoke very well. But the wide receivers, you know, shouts out to the wideouts. I think when the opportunities were there, they capitalized on it, catching the ball. Isaiah Bond set the tone, I think, for the year, catching that little out route, and then not only just running out of bounds, but he ran over a guy, you know, and, you know, all energy ensued on the sideline. I think that was a great tone setter. Even Kobe Prentice, how he came in, you know, we were kind of struggling in the second quarter. It looked like him and Milroe got some type of bond going on because they were just connecting. And Jermaine Burton, you know, I think this guy was open all night. You know, a couple times I think Milroe maybe came off the read a little bit too early. But, yeah, those guys really look good. And I think the receivers were blocking, Kendrick Law, all those guys. And I will say this, you know, being a former player, when you don't make plays kind of week one, you kind of really focus trying to make plays week two. So I'll say this versus Texas. Be on the lookout for guys like Kendrick Law to ball out. Kobe Prentice, he's going to get off. I mean, it's going to be Ja'Cory Brooks. You know, he was in the doghouse, so he really got something. Malik Benson. Listen, these guys, they're hearing all the chatter about, oh, how great Texas receivers are, Cooks and Mitchell and Worthy, and nobody's really talking about Alabama's receivers. So I think they're going to go in this game with a chip on their shoulder, ready to go out there and prove and use the momentum that they have with Jalen Milroe. Tommy Rees going to be in his bag, cooking it up a great game plan. So I'm going to give my wideouts an A-.
Oh, wow. Hey, we need to give this troll here, Edward Thornton, good talking to. I know that Chris and Coach Smook are just salivating at this. It says from Edward Thornton, Bama beat a team that lost to some dude named James Madison 44-7 last year, and you losers think they're world beaters. Pump the brakes. Bama could easily lose this game by 21.
Hello, Eddie.
First off, by your comment, you losers. So you're either a Tennessee fan,
Auburn fan,
a
Georgia fan,
or a Texas fan. One of those four. Combine those four teams' championships in the last 15 years, and still doesn't equal up to what
20.
First off, let me clear the air on that.
Why are you on Alabama stuff? Like, if Alabama's such a loser, why are you on our comments, on our content?
We appreciate your viewership. We appreciate it. I mean, we love.
Then the thing is, you talking about them losing to James Madison, but you ain't talking about them taking Miami to you get what I'm saying? Exactly. Hey, go ahead, Dan.
And for the record, we are world beaters.
Exactly. We proved it 6 times on the Saban. Get your mind right, bro. Come on now.
Get them, Ty. Get them, Ty.
I mean, y'all have taken care of it. And first off, James Madison was a 3-loss team last year.
Exactly.
Like, are we not going to pretend like JMU wasn't a good team last year?
They were the Cinderella story.
And Clemson just lost to Duke. So, I mean,
what are you talking about?
We know you're not a Clemson fan.
We don't have those problems.
I don't think
you owe us. You owe us a super chat for that crazy name.
I don't think he knew.
You always did.
I don't think he knew James Madison's game. He wasn't familiar.
No, he probably a Tennessee fan.
But I'll tell you who is familiar with game. Dan, talk to me about what you saw from Bama week 1 against MTSU, and then talk to me about the position group that stood out for you and what grade are you going to give them?
Yeah, man. I think an all-around solid game, man. You know, but like you said, I want to harp on Dow Court a little bit, man. God, you know, I don't like to get on players too much, you know, because they're playing at a high level, playing for, you know, University of Alabama. Only a few of us have had the chance to ever do. But yeah, it's the elephant in the room. You know what I'm saying? No pun intended. But we got to do something about that. That's what really kind of stood out to me. But other than that, I say a clean game. How about the no offensive penalties, y'all? What do y'all think of that?
Yes.
Right.
That's a
we
W.
led the nation in 8 penalties per game last year, around 70 yards per game. I think a lot of people are glossing over that little point you just made. With the 2 penalties, none were on the offensive line, guys.
Right.
And can I say this about our discipline? It looks like our team this year is more internally disciplined. Like
right.
They want to take on the ownership by themselves. They don't want to have to wait on the coaches to push them. So I think this team just so locked and loaded, and just they got that Lank mentality. Back to you, Dan.
Yeah. And man, I want to talk about this front seven. I mean, how do you guys feel about seeing the linebackers able to come down the line clean? You know what I'm saying? Be able to make tackles, from tackle to tackle, man. I mean, I was impressed, man. That tells me, the down linemen are doing their job, man. Moving Otis to end, proved to be a real huge move. Deontae Lawson was able to play a clean game. He was able to come down the line and attack. He didn't have to shoot the gaps and dive at ankles, the board linemen. Go ahead, Chris.
No, to add to your point, I am so excited that Tim Keenan has progressed so much that we're able to move Jaheim Otis to end.
Yes.
And we didn't wear out Tim Smith. So he only got like 20-some snaps. So he should be fresh this week.
Tim Keenan, did you see how he was just blowing up double
and everything?
Man, I haven't seen that in 3 years,
bro.
Yeah.
Glad.
Yeah. How in the world was he playing behind DJ Dale? I don't understand it, man. But
it rhymes with Will Holding.
Yeah.
Hey, DJ Dale had the same thing on Saban that Dalcourt has.
But man, overall, the front seven, man, they really stood out, man. How about that cheetah package, man?
Yeah,
Raptor
package.
Raptor package, dime rabbits, everything. College man. I was impressed, man. I love the versatility of the linebacker, sliding Q-Rob on the inside, move them outside. That creates a lot of problems. It's gonna create problems for Texas. And even the second group that came in, man, Blackshire, he was wonderful. Yeah.
Man.
That's right. Oh yeah, shout out to Ephraim Davis. Block out all the noise.
Thanks,
Distraction and do your job. We appreciate that, Ephraim. I guess Stephen Evans not here. I guess I do the Wendy's 5 for 5.
We're going to Arby's.
You got to make sure you're taken care of. Well, that leaves me. What did I see from MTSU? First and foremost, I think we all need to thank MTSU for 2 things, both what they did on offense and what they did on defense. I don't think a lot of people have talked about this. They literally opened up the playbook. Like, this was not a game where MTSU was worried about staying vanilla and on page 1. They got to page Z. Like, they opened up the playbook and ran multiple different sets. They gave the defense a lot of different looks. I understand. It was a team that the defense should be able to handle. But conceptually, week 1, a week before Steve Sarkisian comes to town, you had a team show you a lot of different things offensively. And if we talk about what MTSU did defensively, they sent pressure from multiple different areas. I mean, they were really trying to see what they could get done. Hats off to MTSU because they didn't lay down, right? Which I really appreciate. And I do think will be good for Alabama. That wasn't a team that came in there with the intent of laying down. And the coordinators certainly didn't call that type of game. They tried to do what they could, but as I said, it was Alabama. They were outmatched. They just didn't have the depth. And luckily, Alabama was more disciplined, as the panel has already said, and found a rhythm. And guys, the thing I liked the most before I talk about my position group was the lull that the offense experienced through much of the second quarter. I was so curious to see how Jalen Milroe would respond to that, right? Early success on a crazy touchdown, and then you hit a little bit of a lull. And it didn't phase him at all. They got back to what he was doing because they were kind of spreading the ball around during much of that second. They got back to what he was doing and doing at a high level, and the offense took off. So I'm here to talk to you all about the tight end position, because as someone on the panel already pointed out, that Texas team has got an incredibly instinctual linebacker, Jalen Ford. But luckily, Alabama has some tight ends that, dare I say, they might be able to clear Jalen Ford out the way so that Jalen Milroe may have a path to run if it opens up. Amari Niblack, ladies and gentlemen, is a mismatch personified. That guy right there is going to unlock parts of this offense that have not otherwise been there. CJ Dipree is a guy that has experience. That's going to be big. And then Danny Lewis, guys. Danny Lewis is going to be a guy that factors into this. You still have Robbie Oots. You still have Miles Kitzelman. This is a tight end room that is really deep and will allow for Tommy Rees to maximize what he wants to do. The 12 personnel is what I asked for all season. The 12 personnel is what we got. And guess what? Jalen looks real comfortable with that 12 personnel.
Let him cook.
I'm gonna give the tight end room an A, and the only reason it's not an A+ is because Saban didn't allow them to earn the A+.
Right.
He let others cook.
Yeah.
Hey, Ty, one thing I did notice in most pass scales where the tight ends, no matter which two were out there in 12 personnel, that's 4 deep. We talking about 4 deep now. These guys were creating space. These guys were on top of their routes. I mean, I didn't see a sloppy, and hats off to Latu for the change he made, but I saw guys running routes out there. These big dudes are, I'm talking about get on your toes. They get in your space quick. They close cushion quick. And yes, it's Middle Tennessee State, but I think that's something to say on any level. Guys that can move that fast and that big.
Chris, you go.
I want to hop on a question that was presented earlier by DLB about what do y'all think about the defensive coordinator and the offensive coordinator in the booth? Like Coach Smoot said last week, I think it's great because they're both up top and they can see the big picture, they can see the whole field from on both sides of the ball. So I think that's great with them both being up there. Neither one of those guys are the spotlight seeking type of guys.
Yes.
Blackshaw was a man. I agree with that.
He's a man child.
Hey, shout out to David Agri for the $4.99 super chat. I admit I was wrong about Blackshire. He won't transfer next year. He wants the job this year.
Bro. Yes.
And can I say something to Ty's point about MTSU and that lull the second quarter? Guys, they presented so many blitzes to our offense, and I was worried. I was like, man, when are we going to see these crazy blitzes? And thank you to Rick Stockhill and MTSU for just blitzing crazy the second
making them
quarter,
work.
because now moving forward, we know how to handle those when we play these tougher teams, the A&Ms, the Arkansas or whoever. We've kind of already experienced it week 1. We won't have to experience it versus week 2 versus Texas. So thank you, MTSU. I mean, they just blitzed like crazy. I mean, they caught Caden Proctor off guard. Like, listen, it was a good wake-up call. And I'll say this, MTSU has always historically played Alabama tough. I remember going to watch them, Adoree Hicks, run all over Alabama. So people don't sleep on MTSU. Like, they are, those guys know how to play as well.
No doubt about it. And I was watching that game, and the only thing I could think is, especially with what they were doing on offense. Now, we know that Sark is going to do a lot of pre-snap motion, but the theory of I want to show you a lot to prepare for, I think that's great. And guys, this is a great segue to talk about this weekend's game, what everybody wants to hear about. Texas is coming to town, especially after the game last year. How could this not be the talk of college football? The way this game went down, the storylines in it. Quinn Ewers had himself a game before going out, but now Jalen Milroe is the starting quarterback of Alabama, and we saw an offense and a defense for the Crimson Tide much more based on scheme as opposed to hero ball. I don't know about y'all, but scheme has worked pretty well for Alabama in the past. I'm going to hang my hat on scheme. Smook, I want to start this off with you, man. Talk to me about what you're expecting from Texas. Talk to me about this game, man. Let's get into it.
You guys know I love the offensive side of the ball, but I don't think that's where Texas presents the challenge. I think their defensive their defensive front is going to be the tell of how this game goes. If they could go in there and have their way with our interior pause, if they could go in there and just manhandle guys on the interior, I mean, it can get crazy for Milroe. I don't want to see Milroe routed early. If we can get Milroe started early, and I think Reese's scheme, if he sees a mismatch early, I don't think he'll allow the mismatch to be even be exposed, because I think last game was kind of everybody's testing game to see where you at. Handle your job. What kind of adjustments am I going to possibly have to make? And seeing Ferguson go out there and be aggressive when he got on the field, that was very, very, very encouraging. Hopefully that what we're hearing that side pans out. But overall, man, I'm more worried about the defensive front causing havoc and not allowing us to establish that run game, because that's what we want to do. Our O-line said they want to be the beast on the field. They wanted to impose their will. If we can't start the run game early this game, and I mean early from the jump, even if we try to go play action over time, I see something like that happening with Rees. But if we don't shore up that interior on the run game, and just if we don't get Dalcour out of there, I'm gonna just say, if we don't get Dalcour out of there, we're gonna struggle. Because I feel like they have two crazy good defensive tackles, and you got linebackers who not scared to field. So the only way you win that matchup, or you threaten that matchup, is you run at them. You don't throw around them, you run at them. Make them spread, sideline to sideline a few times, but you really try to impose your will by running at them. And we didn't do that last year, so they were fresh all 4 quarters. You come in and start running the ball early, having 3-4 yards per carry, mess around and break, start averaging 6, man, this could get away early, because their defense secondary is not going to be ready. They walk a safety down in the box and give us one-on-one on the outside. I like our chances.
Hey, I will say, though, a corner that stood out to me for Texas, someone that Alabama recruited, Manny Muhammad.
Yeah.
The young man is going to be really
Malik, yes.
Really, they call him Manny, but Malik Muhammad, yeah, he's going to be a fun player for Texas fans to watch. They got a good one there.
He's gonna be baptized Saturday.
Yeah,
Ty,
no doubt.
I want to see this match. I gave my boy crap all last season. I want to see him on Jermaine Burton. Jermaine Burton is cooking cats.
Burton is cooking this year,
bro. I mean, and y'all know I was so against Burton, but he is. Go watch the routes.
Yeah, he was cooking this guy.
9 pass places out there, bro.
He could have easily had 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns, easily cooking.
Well, speaking of cooking, Chris, you're over here not only contributing to the conversation, but catching your sitcoms as well. A man of many talents. Talk to me about what you're expecting from Texas.
My TV has
not living single,
man. It just cut on out of nowhere, man. He has a mind of his own. But I'm expecting Texas to kind of try to take the top off of us, because I don't think that they believe that they can dink and dunk their way downfield. And Sark is going to try to out scheme us. But I'm glad it's Kevin Steele this time as opposed to Pete Golden. I'd be a little more worried. But I think that because Texas, what they're going to do, I know they're going to try to max protect and get those 1, 2, 3 man routes concept going. But the thing about it, man, you're going up against Arnold, you're going up against Kool-Aid, so it's going to be tough sledding. And I believe that this is going to be a defensive slugfest. I don't think it's going to be a game full of fireworks. I think it's going to be the first team to 24 wins. I'm going there. Yeah, but I think that that Texas will try to defensively. You know what they're going to do? They're going to try to make us uncomfortable. They're going to send run blitzes, delayed blitzes. They're going to try to let forward get off. But the thing about it, man, what they have to account for is Jalen Milroe's legs. You blitz and you miss. You better not miss, because if you do, it's over with. And they have to be very, very careful on that. And I think that with that 12 personnel, we'll probably let one of those tight ends go out on the route and keep the other end of the block. And there you go. You have 6, 7 guys in protection. And 3 guys on the route, or 6 guys, 4 guys on the route. And like you say, with the way Jermaine Burton was cooking cats, man, he can get open. With Burton, Benson, and Bunn on the field together, man, that's tough, man. So I expect us to do a lot of play action, a lot of trying to get the ground game established early. But I think that Rees knows that we can't get behind the chains, and therefore he's gonna do a lot of, dump offs in the flats, just simple stuff just to keep us ahead of the chains. And we stay ahead of the chains, man. This game won't be pretty.
Completely agree. It's going to be interesting to see how Rees can do that. Now, Justin,
Mm-hmm.
I know you're fired up to talk about this. What are you expecting to see out of Texas? How are you expecting Alabama to find success against the Longhorns?
Man, one of the biggest things that stood out to me last year was the combination of Xavier Worthy and Quinn Ewers. They were cooking Alabama's defense until Quinn Ewers went down. But one of the biggest reasons for that is now gone. That was Pete Golding. We now have a defense led by Kevin Steele. And one of the lead dogs in this defense has been Terrion Arnold. He's already in midseason form. He is playing pissed off for greatness. And I don't feel like that he's going to let anybody do anything against him. This defense right now is attacking, not reacting. There's aggression coming from this group. And after talking to Matt Galitzin, who is a writer for SI and LonghornsCountry.com, the biggest concern right now, I know there's been a lot of hype behind Quinn Ewers, Xavier Worthy, and these talented wide receivers. He's telling me that there just isn't any kind of continuity or chemistry between Ewers and these guys. And they feel like this is going to be the biggest problem because Ewers missed out on a lot of plays where he could have gone yard with Xavier Worthy. I feel like that might be a concern, but this is a game where he could be hitting on all cylinders. However, he's playing against Caleb Downs. He's playing against Terrion Arnold. He's playing against Kool-Aid. So I feel like it is going to come down to those guys being aggressive like they have been and having a no-fly zone. Another guy that no one's really talking about, you talk about the mismatch in Amari Knobloch. Well, they have a tight end like that in Jatavian Sanders. That's something we need to be mindful of. Last year, Ewers wasn't really able to do anything with them. Another guy that just the chemistry isn't right there, but if it's hitting on all cylinders, Jatavian Sanders can be a problem. But then again, the people I just named, Caleb Downs, Terrion Arnold, Jalen Key, Kool-Aid, they're not going to let them run wild. I think that right now our defense has them locked down, and it's going to be very hard for them to do what they want against this defensive secondary.
Guys, nobody move. If we don't move, it's like a T-Rex. It can't see or hurt us anymore. And Pete Golding will exit the chat without any problems.
Stop moving right now.
And we're good. We're
Thank you,
good.
Davis. Thank you.
Okay.
I thought he had my neck. I was there. I was froze, bro. I thought he had my neck.
We lost Dan.
What sacrifices must be made.
Yeah. You were the scapegoat, Dan.
Hey,
Dan had to dispose him real quick.
Man, when he said Pete Golden, I had to go.
Speaking of Pete Golden, I got Tulane winning this weekend.
Oh boy. Well, Dan, what a perfect time for you to come back. Oh no.
But those linebackers right now for us are just playing at such a high level. And if you noticed it against Rice, Quinn Ewers was getting popped a lot, getting hit in the head a lot. And if Rice was able to have that kind of success, then I can only imagine what Deontae Lawson, a surgeon, Chris Braswell, a surging Quandarius Robinson can do.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, Matt, I'm going to pass it to you. But I want everybody to put a pin in what Justin just said, how they were able to get pressure on Quinn, because there was something I noticed with the way Rice was able to do it, well, that I think Alabama Nation's going to be very excited to hear. Matt, what are you excited to see against Texas?
I'm going to set it up versus this. First, I want to say how I think, Sark's going to try to go after us. If you look at the MTSU game, they tried to expose us laterally, a lot of east, west, the screens, trying to make sure we cover that. We know Sark's going to do the pre-snap motion. We know Sark's going to have crazy methodical screens and all that stuff. But Justin, you hit on it with that tight end. It was at one point, MTSU tight end was just getting passes left and right, catching passes left and right. So we're going to have to be able to defend the tight end. And I think another route that we're really gonna have to be able to defend versus Sark is the slant route. I think that's one route that I see that Sark can try to expose. You look at Sark when he was the offensive coordinator with Ruggs and Devontae Smith and all those guys. We're gonna have to be able to defend that. But to our point, I think Sark's he's trying to figure Alabama out, and I think to our defense, like we rotated a lot of linebackers. Like we getting Jahad Campbell back, so they haven't seen Weapon X, Justin Jefferson. They don't know what type of package. Sneak it. I love how methodical Bama is. We were vanilla, but throwing in Trey Amos on that third down puts a lot of pressure on the offense, especially Sark, because now he's going to have to dictate. Okay, now I know they're doing this. Now there's going to be an extra wrinkle that I think we kind of showed to Sark to kind of get them, really have him to really have the game plan for us. But I think if we can defend East-West, we can, defend the slant, defend the tight end, stop the run, obviously, I think get pressure. I'm looking for Dallas Turner to have a big game. I'm calling 2 sacks. He didn't do much versus MTSU. I think he's going to be hungry, licking his chops, ready to get to Quinn Ewers. And listen, I told you about the guys. I think Kendrick Law's going to get off. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we come out showing fireworks. I said it again. Don't be surprised we come out looking like Michael Vick and the Philadelphia Eagles versus Washington Redskins first play moving the pocket. Because when I did see Rice, when Rice was doing bootlegs, moving the pocket, they were able to have success in the passing game. So I think, I don't want to give too much sauce because Sark might be looking right now. But, I'll leave it at that. But, I'm excited about Bama.
Trey Amos is another lockdown corner. I'm surprised Chris didn't
Chris been preaching it for the.
I know, but I'm surprised he didn't go at it tonight because he was just in a freaking trends talking about them DBs. I just knew he was going to talk about Trey. I mean, Trey went out there. The fact that we could have him and Arnold on the same side, he could play nickel or Arnold could play nickel. You can interchange them guys. That's just flexibility, man. Because you give guys like Earl Little and them you give them one assignment. You get what I'm saying? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. The crazy thing about it, him wearing that 9, he looks just like Jordan Battle. He's that big.
Myself, I was like, is that Jordan Battle on there?
Well, Dan, can't wait to hear from you, man. What are you looking for from Texas? How can Alabama find success against the Horns?
Yeah. Like Matt said, Sark is definitely going to hit us with a lot of pre-snap motion, a lot of eye candy. I expect them try to get some chunk plays with the slip screens and things like that. We're going to expect, a lot of pressure from the Texas D-line, especially if we don't fix the Dale court and the pass pro from our running backs. But I'm going to tell you what 2 things going to determine this game. And it's going to be, one is turnovers, of course, but the second is explosive plays. And I believe Bama had the advantage there. We're gonna explosive plays was gonna decide the game. But I'll wait till I give you all my prediction, my final prediction. But that's what I expect.
And before we go, I guess I'll lead us into the predictions. But I'm going to tell you what I'm looking for against Texas. First off, Dan, you hit the nail on the head. The offensive line, they got to be more sure of themselves. They've got to play better. Guys, this is not the yesteryear's Texas defensive front. They doubt them at your own peril. Seriously. They have got some dudes along that defensive front that can play football that will be playing on Sundays. That's a good defense that's down in Austin. And they're going to be bringing it to Tuscaloosa, hoping to shock the world. But I'm going to tell you something I saw against Rice that's going to help pave the way for Alabama to prove Texas is going to have to wait at least one more week to be back. Guys, did you see how Rice generated the pressure on Texas? It was the stunts.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if y'all are familiar with Rice's defense, but it is largely inspired by one Nick Saban. Did y'all see how we were generating pressure against MTSU? Did you see those stunts?
Yes.
Texas had a nightmare of a time trying to handle stunts from Rice. Now, what happens when Quindarius Robinson and Justin Aboigbe are stunting at you, and it's not the 2 stars that are from Houston? What happens when it's Dallas Turner and Jaheim Otis stunting at you, and not the guys from Rice? That right there was notable to me, that Texas struggled with that in particular. Quinn Ewers is a guy that when he's on, he's got ability. We know this. But the thing is he needs to get back in rhythm. In fact, the best football we've seen Quinn Ewers play was the quarter and a half he played against Alabama. He's not been bad since, but he has not been that player. What Alabama has to do is weather the storm. We know what Sark does. The first 30 plays of this game, 45 plays, they're going to be a part of a script. Steve Sarkisian is a brilliant offensive mind. You have got to weather the initial storm. And if you can do that, then you get into the one downfall that has consistently happened with Sark. And in fairness, it was the opposite of what we saw with Rice. Sark always starts strong, but if you look at the point differentials for the first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter, they all go in Texas's favor. However, they decrease after halftime. Texas loses the fourth quarter point differential. So you weather the storm and make them make adjustments. That's been the one downside to Sarkisian, though I must give pressure where it's due. They were able to make adjustments against Rice and put them away in the second half, but it's Rice. It's a team you should put away. I think Alabama is going to find success in this game, and I think the defense is going to pave the way. One name to know, though, if you are watching the Texas defense, Anthony Hill, a true freshman from where I'm currently sitting, Denton, Texas. And guys, he's not only a stellar inside linebacker for them, he's their best pass rusher on third down. He is an extremely talented player. He has got an extremely bright future in front of him. It's going to be a great matchup to watch. I'd imagine they might charge him with some QB spy duties come Saturday. So may the best man win. I like Milroe's odds as much as I like Anthony Hill. You're going to be a sensational player. Jalen Milroe has got a different gear. Guys, we're going to go around the table now and get the score predictions. Justin, we're going to start with you.
We have Steve Sarkisian here in our chat. So
Sorry.
The biggest thing for me in this game for Alabama to find success, and I kind of got away with from it earlier, it all comes down to discipline. Like Dan said, it's about eye candy. If you're staying disciplined and you avoid all the extra things that Steve Sarkisian is going to throw at you, I think we'll be just fine. To me, I think that Alabama's going to come out and assert themselves almost immediately. I think they'll pick up where Rice left off, but we're going to close it a lot better than Rice did. Alabama's going to win 34-17.
Oh, yeah.
And, sorry. Player of the game for me is going to be Jaheim Otis.
I like it.
There we go. Chris, what are you thinking, man?
Man, Justin's been in my – I said the same as that score, 34-17. I promise you I did. The thing is, man, I think it's only one guy in the country that may be able to spy Jalen Milroe, and that's maybe, and that's Perkins from LSU. He's about the only one I think that's in that class. You can, and if Anthony Hill is their best pass rusher, a linebacker, inside linebacker, that
third down pass rusher.
Oh man, they're in for they're gonna be in for a time. I think we lean on those boys, man, and wear them down. And I think Bama pulls away. Like y'all know how we do those early season openers, like when we used to play in Atlanta all the time, the Virginia Techs and the West Virginias, like they hang around. And then third quarter we started to pull away. Fourth quarter we knock them out. That's why I think 38-17, 34-17 range, something like that. That's my prediction. And I think that the player of the game is going to be Deontae Lawson.
Okay, Smoot, what are you thinking, man?
I think if our inside linebackers, if we can get pressure with 4 and have those guys be able to bring that delayed strike A-gap pressure like they were doing against Middle Tennessee State, like we saw Texas be susceptible to Rice too, I think we get away with this game early because Ewers is a sticky guy, but we got some athletic guys in that front seven. I mean, some speed guys. I mean, I honestly see Justin Jefferson possibly getting some reps this game if we get into those 4 and 5 wide sets. against Texas. I don't see why not, especially with that cheetah package coming out there. You could put him, Campbell, Lawson, second level with your guys, Braswell, Turner, Otis up front. You know, Hugh Robinson playing the edge, you know, out standing up. So if we get that defense started early with the pressure, I don't think the offense is going to have too many problems extending the game and grinding out drives and scoring, being efficient in scoring. Second half pulled away, Alabama 45, Texas 17, man. I really feel like we can really impose our will and put Ewers in some bad spots to create some turnovers. And we got some ball hawks in that secondary. And he proved last week his inaccuracy was consistent. He was consistently inaccurate on the deep ball. And I believe Jalen Keat, Caleb Downs, Christian Story, all those guys over top showed their ability to cover range, to recover, you know. So I like our chances. 42-17 Bama.
There we go. Dan, what are you thinking?
Yeah, one thing I didn't mention that I'm thinking, you know, Sarkisian is going to try to expose our middle linebacker a little bit with wheel routes and things like that. That we didn't get to see that from MTSU, you know. But this game, guys, I don't think it's ever going to be in doubt. And of course, Justin gave away my score. I think he was cheating off my paper. But I'm looking for Bama to take it 34-17, and that's with a late touchdown from Texas. It's never going to be close.
34-17. So we're close. I'm going to go 35-24 Bama. I think that this is going to be a game where you just have to weather the storm, and this is going to be a defensive game. I mean, I know that what I said, 30, you know, that's a good amount of points scored, but for the quality of athlete that is going to be on both offenses, this is going to be a defensive game, and I'm here for it. Cannot wait. Matt, what are you thinking?
I'm going Bama 38, Texas 17. To your point, Justin, I think it's going to be a game where, you know, we get up on it. We're going to have to weather the storm, but we're going to take advantage of these new rules. We're going to run the ball because in the second half, we're going to – I looked at – see, Justin Hayes having a big game. Like
Richard Young, too.
I think it's going to be a lot of stuff that we haven't shown and they haven't seen. They haven't game plan for in the run game, and they're not going to know what hit them. So I'm going 38-17. And my player of the game, Dallas Turner. I think Dallas Turner is looking to make at least 2 or 3 sacks this game. I think this is his money game. I think he's going to be locked in. And my other person, Kool-Aid. I'm going to say Kool-Aid. I think Kool-Aid is looking for this matchup versus these receivers.
Well, if Dallas Turner going to be your player of the game, that means we're going to be looking at Arch Manning.
Right. They don't want Dallas Turner back there.
Man, Archie Manning coming in the game, you know the stadium is going to go be
crazy.
I mean, it's going to be a Richter scale alert going on in the Tuscaloosa Brian Denny. If Archie Manning comes in the game, oh my God.
Who's that? I think that was everybody, right?
That's everybody. Yeah.
Hey, so can I add one?
Go ahead.
As you all know, I do the gaming content. We did the Bama versus Texas live on the channel the other day, so we'll be posting the edit soon. But the edit and some of the guys were able to watch it. It was the way that game went. I don't see Jalen Milroe having as many turnovers as he had in the simulation or whatever in the game. But I really see that game happening. It was tied up 14-14 all the way to about 4 minutes left in the second quarter. Kool-Aid McKinstry had a pick, and we got inside the red zone. We scored before the end of the half, and it never got close again. And before I went on to play that game, I said Bama would play tight. We'll play strong in the first half. And the score, when the third quarter started, they would never be within 14 at the end, at the end of the game. And we pulled away. So I could see it, forcing them to go deep early, get out of their ability to stretch the field sideways, extend the run game to the perimeter. If we could get them out of that early, that's bad news for Quinn Ewers and that deep ball and that front. They got to buy Quinn Ewers that time to try to connect on those passes downfield.
Yeah, that's going to be something we have got to watch is how does Quinn Ewers come out and play? That's going to be one of the big questions. But Justin, as the man in charge, I figured we'd start with you. where can the people find your OnlyFans content?
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I knew it was coming. That's what I said.
Great job, Ty.
Good job, Ty. You
Man,
bro.
you can find me at Gap Integrity.
He stays disciplined.
Oh, he does.
And we have all kind of deals right now, so please feel free to check in there, guys. It is football season, and that means the Bama Standard Network is going to bring you the best and greatest content. We're on all social media at the Bama Standard, on TikTok at _Bama Standard. I want to invite everyone. Y'all provide great energy live chat in this show. You provide great energy in the Bama Standard. We need you to bring that same energy tomorrow night for the brand new show led by Cece Payne, the Crimson Dynasty. She's a female that could probably talk most anybody under the table when it comes to dropping knowledge. So please show up and show out tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Support her and support everything we're doing. And we're going to be bringing a post-game show coming up soon. And, hey, if we have steak for dinner on Saturday night, we're going to be sharing with you guys. So stay tuned for that.
Chris.
What's up, guys? You can find me on Facebook at Chris K. James Sr. I got a clear from room. I've been at 5,000 friends for like 12 years now, 13 years. So I constantly have to clean out my friend list for people who like don't interact on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter at Coach Chris James, on Instagram at CKJ Senior 32, and my OnlyFans, I have a new one. It's called Paul Fine Herpon.
Now, what you need to do is transition those 5,000 friends into 5,000 clients.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know. I know. I do toes, ball head, everything.
Hey, stay versatile. Stay versatile. That's the name of the game.
Man. Versatile.
Now, speaking of versatility, Smook, let the people know where they can find you.
At Coach Smook on everything. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Kick, YouTube, Black Planet,
Oh boy.
farmersonly.com. You can find me at Coach Smook. But on OnlyFans, y'all gotta come check out the new OnlyFans channel, y'all. We got a new episode, Double Fisting the Gap. And then the promo code. But if you want to get in early, the promo code, we're not doing the regular one-word promo code, and this is like your message, your password, your open sesame. This is the promo. So y'all need to write this down. If you got pen and paper, pull it out, write it down, type it in your phone, whatever.
Dear
the
God.
promo code is Strong Left 69 Smash on 2. Ready, break. Get up out of here. Let's go.
Hold on. You can't just one more time.
Strong Left Nut Smash 69 on 2. Ready?
I'm almost. I apologize. I asked him to. That's on me.
I'm trying to run it fast.
That's on me. That's
trying
on
to
me.
do it. We in 2-minute drill, baby.
That's
Come
on
on,
me.
2-minute
That's on
drill.
me.
That's the other promo code. 2-minute drill. On one.
Matt, hey Matt, pause.
Pause.
Matt, where can the people find you?
Listen, y'all can find me on my OnlyFans this week. It's inspired by how Alabama's defense is going to play this week. It's going to be called Good D. And the promo code is called Going Deep. So hit me up. Find me on all social media, Matt Cadell. That's what I'm saying. Good D OnlyFans. That's what I'm doing this week.
Going deep.
And y'all already know you can find me at Reach Around the Table Sports Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. I know that's been the name for weeks, but why mess up a good thing? I leave the other guys to switch it up. I am your consistent force on the panel. You gotta have it.
She said.
Hey, you know what?
We
If
can't
nothing
keep our
else,
fans up like you, man.
if nothing else, that's what she said, Justin. If nothing else, that's
Nothing
what
else.
she said.
What
That
she
I'm
said.
consistent. Okay. If nothing else, consistently disappointing. Dan, talk to us. Where can they find all your great stuff?
Man, you can find me on Twitter, Final Whistle Dan. You can catch me here every week, man. That's where it all starts. You know, that's what created me. That's what created Final Whistle Dan. But sadly enough, man, I got on the serious note, you know, with the pressure from the wife, I had to stop doing OnlyFans. So what I'm doing now, I'm doing a website.
Oh boy.
It's finalwhistledan.com. I'll be selling different kinds of. I'm selling peanuts, pecans, pistachios, cashews. You know, on my website to feed at-risk youth, and I'm calling them these nuts.
Dan's
Lodium.
And he's selling whistles.
He's selling special
Only
edition
Dan's.
whistles. Only Dan's, baby.
And you said that's .com, C-O-M, right?
Just don't blow any
Oh
whistles.
my gosh.
Just don't blow any whistles. We good. Pause.
You know the worst thing? I think you might actually be onto something with this
These
nut
D's
business.
nuts, like,
Yeah.
I think you might actually be onto something
Put
there.
D's with Dan real low, like in small font under.
You can
Dan.
send them as a joke gift to someone at work, like, "Oh, we have a delivery of D's nuts for someone, and it's cashews and pistachios and peanuts." And
Who sent them D? Damn.
And if you act now, chocolate salty balls.
Extra
I got one called Seeds Nuts.
Oh man.
Uh-oh,
whistle,
Dan.
Dan. Wow.
You know what? Not only
Back
do
in
you
the
get
bag.
your Alabama football news from here, you get entrepreneurial advice. Look at this.
All
Where
over
else?
the table sports. I'm loving it.
Hey, you got yours. I got mine. There we go. Right?
All over the table.
Spread over the table. Spread over the table sports.
All around.
Man, where else can you find this kind of content?
Only at the Final Wilson.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's about it for us this evening. Justin,
Chris.
you have anything to send us off with?
Man, just be ready for some grade A choice cut steak this Saturday night.
Ribeye for me.
Until next week, roll tide.
Raptor packets.
Roll Tide, man.
Oh.